Hello employees of GEBOS over in New Mexico. My name is Ross Schamberger. We handle the benefits for you guys at GEBOS, which means your Blue Cross, dental insurance, vision insurance, those type of things. So it is open enrollment. And so that means it's that time of the year where if you've not enrolled on the plan and now you've changed your mind for whatever reason and you want to get on the plan, you can do that now for an effective date of January 1st. If you want to add dependents to the plan, you can do that now for an effective date of January 1st. So just know that if you do on 1/1, all pre-existing conditions are covered. There's no waiting periods. So it just begins immediately. So what we want to do today, because of COVID, we can't go have meetings. We're doing a video again this year. We did it for you last year, and just explain that. So up front, if you have questions, you are welcome to call my office and talk with me, Ross Schamberger, or Ashley Allen. And our number here in Lubbock is 806-783-8959. So please use that anytime during the year. If we can help you, you feel free to call us. So you've got an open enrollment notice. You all should have electronically, we just printed it off, a packet that would look like this. There's an open enrollment notice on the front of it, just telling you it's open enrollment. Right behind that, you should have two summaries of benefits and coverage that look like so. Basically, this is your benefits. We call them SBCs. They came about with the Affordable Care Act. So let's go through the top PPO plan. This is the plan that most of you are going to be on. So they're in New Mexico. It is a $4,000 deductible. If you carry your family, $8,000. For out-of-pocket, the maximum is $7,000, and that $7,000 includes that $4,000 deductible. It includes every copay you make for prescriptions, every copay you make for an office visit, every lab test, all of those things. If you stay in network, and let's say you had $100,000 worth of charges, you should not be out of pocket more than $7,000 as long as you use in-network providers. When you flip the page, by the way, let me mention this, we made no changes to your plan. So it is exactly like it is for 2021 as it is today in 2020. The only difference was there was a rate increase, and just to tell you up front, 25% rate increase. So it was pretty ugly in that that is a huge rate increase. But at the same time, the claims for your group far exceeded what most groups normally do. So unfortunate, that's just the way it is in the health insurance business. So if companies lose money, you can expect a rate increase. So when you flip the page, office visit to go see your primary care doctor is $35. To go see a specialist, it's $70. For preventive care, you should never pay for a preventive care checkup. Diagnostic test and x-ray, lab work, that type of thing is a $35 copay. Deductible does not apply. If you have any imaging done, like CAT scans, PET scans, MRIs, those things that really cost a lot of money, they are subject to your deductible of $4,000 and then paid at 80%, you pay 20%. So when you get into the generic drugs, and I'm just going down the page, $25 copay for generic drugs. Of course, many of the generic drugs cost less than that. So whatever the cost is, you should never pay more than the cost. Of course, the maximum would be $25. Preferred brand name $50, non-preferred brand name $70. So then there's specialty drugs that can be $25, $50, or $70. Excuse me. So again, prescription drug, no change on any of that. And then when you get to the third page, it just says basically 20% all the way down, other than on urgent care. If you go to an urgent care center, it's a $70 copay. So on PPO, know that you just need to stay in network. You do not have to have a referral to see a specialist. You just need to make sure that you're going to a Blue Cross Blue Shield provider, and that can be a Blue Cross provider in New Mexico or a Blue Cross provider here in Texas, or as far as that goes, anywhere. If they're a Blue Cross provider, it should be good. So again, just going down the page, it's pretty much 20%. They pay 80%. When you get to the next page, it just continues talking about 20%. It does talk about children's eye exams where there could be a copay when you have an office visit. And then basically that is the PPO side of it for you. So if you're on it and you want to keep it, you don't need to do anything, okay? The only people that will physically have to fill out an enrollment form to make a change there is to add people. But I will cover something in just a minute. We do need your enrollment form, so let me back up just a little bit on that. Okay, the next thing is another summary of benefits and coverage. This is an HSA, which stands for Health Savings Account plan. It is still on a PPO chassis, so use same list of doctors. Do not have to have a referral to see a specialist, but under this plan, everything you do goes to your deductible with the exception of a preventive care checkup. You should not pay for a preventive care checkup on either plan. They should be covered at 100%. But under this plan, every office visit, every lab test, every prescription, everything you do applies to your deductible. The deductible is $6,750, and that is the maximum out of pocket. So once you've hit your $6,750, it pays 100%. But because you have this kind of plan, an HSA plan, the law says you can go open, for lack of better words, a medical IRA. It's called a health savings account, HSA. It's where you can put money into that account, and then when you do go to the doctor, because it applies to your deductible, you can use the debit card on that account and pay for that service with dollars that will never be taxed. Of course, the money that you put in there is going to have to be money out of your check. You go anywhere you want to, any bank, anywhere, and tell them you want to open an HSA account. All right, so that you can use those dollars to pay your out-of-pocket maximums for, again, prescriptions, whatever. All right, so as you go through there, it just keeps talking about no charge, no charge, no charge, and that's because once you hit your deductible, there is no charge. It's paid for at 100%. So that's the HSA plan. I think there's just a couple people on it, but if you want to migrate to that plan, and if you're not sure about it and you have questions, call me. I was on an HSA plan for 11 years, so I understand them very well. Wouldn't say that I'm an expert in anything, but I understand HSA plans. So that is your other option. If you work in New Mexico and you live in Texas, you are also eligible for the HMO. In Texas, we have an HMO as our base plan. That's where they have to go to the list of doctors, they have to get a referral to see a specialist, those types of things. But it's only available to people that live in Texas. So if you live in New Mexico, or if you work in New Mexico but you live in Texas, theoretically you can be on the HSA plan and maybe save you a little bit of money. The premiums are less on that plan. So if you do, call here or call Vicki there in the Plainview office at GEBOS, Vicki Watson, and let her help you. Right behind that's MD Live. This is a telemedicine benefit. Hopefully you guys know about it. Hopefully you will use it. It is where you call a doctor for the minor things, and it gives you examples of the minor things. And then you talk to a doctor, they call you in a prescription about 85% of the time. So it's a neat service. It keeps you from having to go to the doctor's office and wait. If you're on vacation and out of town, this is good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So it could be Christmas Eve morning at 3 a.m. and you've got a 103-degree temp. You need to call a doctor. You can call them at that time. They can call you in a prescription depending on where you are. Okay, they may have to wait for the pharmacy to open. I know here in Lubbock we've got 2 24-hour-a-day pharmacies. So MD Live is a neat service. So let me encourage you to use that as much as you can. The first time you go there, you're going to have to answer some questions because they want to know about you and your health history. And you can actually do that today. And then when you call 6 months from now and you're trying to talk to a doctor because you're sick, you don't have to fill out that information. It's already done. Because it's a lot like the first time you go to a doctor, they give you a clipboard and say, here, fill this out. So similar thing there. So you can save time by going ahead and doing that. So MD Live, we like that service and hope that you will use it. Right behind that is another little page about Nurse Line. 24/7 you can call and talk to a nurse 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, free of charge. They can't prescribe medication, but they can give you advice. Little Johnny's got a 102-degree temp. At what point should I be concerned about it? What do I need to do? Maybe you slid into second base. Your ankle's twice as big as normal. You can walk on it so you don't think it's broken. Do you put ice on it or do you put heat on it? Do you alternate it? Nurse Line can help you with those questions. So it's a free service, so y'all use that. It really will help, especially young parents. You know, I don't know about when we had kids many years ago, it didn't come with the book of instructions. Kind of had to learn on your own. I wished I'd have had Nurse Line. We would have called them, we would have been best friends with Nurse Line when we had kids. All right, so a couple other things that are changing. That's basically the health insurance staying exactly the same. We don't need any information back on the enrollment form, but we do need that enrollment form back from every one of you because we're changing the dental insurance from Equitable to Blue Cross, okay? So that is part of one of the changes, and there is a place on that enrollment form about dental. So you can actually not carry your dependents on the health and carry your dependents on the dental. They are not tied together, okay? So that's very important. So we do need a form back from everybody for the dental coverage. It's a $1,250 yearly maximum, $50 deductible. It basically looks exactly like your coverage that you've got today with Equitable. It does have a 3-month carryover. For diagnostic services, it's paid at 100% without that deductible applying. That deductible, that $50 deductible, is per person, limited to a maximum of 3 per family, or $150 per family. And it does not, the deductible does not apply to preventive services. So you can go and get your teeth cleaned, just an oral exam, and often you're going to walk out the door and not pay a dime, okay? So the sheet shows you that. Then you get into basic restorative things, paid at 80%. You can get into periodontal scaling root things for all 80%. That's going to include simple extractions, those type of things. You have to pay your $50 deductible, but then it's paid at 80%. And then as you flip it over, it's got other coverages at 80%. A really important one is endodontics. That's going to be root canals. Some plans we put root canals at 50% because that makes the rates lower, but not on your plan. Yours is really a fine plan, and it's got root canals paid at 80% after your $50 deductible. Also includes oral surgery at 80%, surgical periodontal services at 80%. Again, sometimes those are at 50%. And then when you get into those major things like crowns, dentures, things like that, those are paid at 50%. And then orthodontics is paid at 50%. And orthodontics has a $1,250 lifetime maximum per child. And orthodontics only applies to kids up to age 26, okay? Once a kid turns 26, they're no longer to be eligible on your health plan. And again, orthodontics does not apply to normal adults. So you've got a $1,250 annual maximum on the dental. That starts over on January 1, okay? So right now, it's the end of the year. If you need some work done, you can go in and maybe have part of it done and let Equitable pay their $1,250 if you haven't already used that. And then on January 1, you start over with a new $1,250. So you can maybe get a crown done in December and a crown done in January, or maybe a couple, if that makes sense to you. So y'all call us on that. The cost to carry your dependents on both of the health and the dental are all on a separate sheet that has been put in your package by GEBOS. So behind that, we're just going on beneficiary resource services. We're going to have life insurance for y'all. You've got life insurance today. It is with Equitable, $10,000. If you die by accident, it pays $20,000. We're moving that to Blue Cross as well. Y'all don't pay for that. You don't ever think about it, but that's just a free benefit that you get. And there's some beneficiary resources. When things like that happen, you can call an 800 number and talk to somebody at Blue Cross as a beneficiary if you're the living, surviving spouse or dependent of somebody that has passed away. They've got travel resources. So if you do a lot of traveling and you want some help on that, you can call the number there. Again, that's provided by Blue Cross. at no charge to you. And then here's the enrollment form. Again, I really don't need this back for the health, but I do need this back for the dental and for the life. All right, and we need a beneficiary on the life. So we're going to have you put your name on section 2 with all of your information. Then you can come over to Blue Cross Blue Care Dental coverage, yes. Who is covered, employee only, employee spouse, employee children, that type of thing. Then you come down to the group term life. Let us write in the volume there, but there is a place right here at the bottom for a beneficiary. Who do you want to get that money if something should happen to you? Contingent beneficiary is who would be your second choice. So maybe you put your spouse, but you and your spouse perish in the same car wreck. Then who's going to be your next choice? If you've got a will that designates all that stuff, then contingent beneficiary is not important. But if you don't, that's a good place to put in maybe your kids. And you can put in 2, 3, 4 kids and have them all share equally. Just write really small so they can read it. All right. Section 4 at the top, if you're going to carry dependents on the dental, we need to know who they are. Need spouse's name if you cover your spouse. Children's name if you're going to cover your children. So list that there. If you were to have a disabled dependent on the health insurance, probably you already know about that. So other coverage really is talking about health coverage. Medicare, if you're Medicare age. When you get down to section 8, if you don't want to cover your dependents on the health or the dental, if you would just put on there that you're declining coverage and why. All right, is it because you have other coverage, you just don't want it, don't need it? That's fine. So if you would just get that, and then we need your signature on section 9. And then you all need to get this back in to Vicki Watson there in Plainview, probably through your store manager. And then behind that, we just got a bunch of notices. The law states that employers have to give you notices about COBRA. That's where you can stay on the group. If you quit, you can stay on the GEBOS group at your own expense. Okay, and it's called COBRA. Right behind that's FMLA, Family Medical Leave Act, gives you a little information there. HIPAA notice, special enrollment rights as to when you can enroll. Health insurance exchange notice, that is where you get individual policies through the healthcare.gov. So again, there is a requirement that employers tell you about healthcare.gov basically. Notice of patients' protections, women's rights regarding cancer, premium assistance for CHIP. CHIP has nothing to do with your group, Children's Health Insurance Program, but the law says your employer has to give you a notice about that. If they provide benefits, there's got to be a notice in there about CHIP. So hopefully people will understand that you can go get coverage for kids really low cost based on your income. And they say a big portion of the people that are eligible are not enrolled, and it's maybe because they don't understand it. Newborn Mother Health Protection Act, there's some laws about that, and then there's just a privacy notice in there. So just keep all of that with you, that nothing says we have to enroll it or explain it to you. And then behind that, we are also switching the vision insurance. Today, you've got life, dental, vision with Equitable. Beginning January 1, the life and the dental are going to be with Blue Cross. We're moving the voluntary vision, okay, and the dental is voluntary also. You pay the premiums, but we're moving that to Principal Life using the exact same network that you're used to today, VSP. Blue Cross does not use VSP, and we felt like there was going to be some disruption if we started using Blue Cross's vision, because they don't use the same providers. So Principal has come in, given us a very competitive quote. You can go in and get your eyes examined. Every year you pay $25. When you go to get a pair of glasses, you pay $10 for that eye exam. I know my eye care doctor charges like $130 for an exam. So if you use a VSP provider, you pay $10, okay? And then you get a discount on top of that. And then they'll allow a certain amount of money towards lenses and frames. So you can go up to $130 every 12 months for elective contacts, that type of thing. So read through that. If you want to go to some provider that's not in the VSP list, they will pay you something, but it's not much. For example, on an eye exam, it's on page 3, they'll pay you $45, okay? Where it would have been $10 and the rest of it free had you used a VSP provider. So consider that vision insurance is really one of those areas where it helps a lot to go in network to a VSP provider. Where on the dental insurance, and we are sending out a link on the dental insurance, if you'll go to one of those providers, you'll get some discount, but it's not as important as it is on the eye insurance, on the vision insurance. But with that list, if you go to some of those providers, you're protected against balance billing, where a doctor may be charged too much and the carrier didn't allow all of their charge, and you get a little bit of a discount. So utilize that. That'll help you. That'll take that annual maximum and extend it further because you're getting a discount on the dental side of it. But certainly on vision, VSP, Vision Service Plan, VSP is the network that you need to use. So this is what we call a 12-12-24 plan. You can get your eyes examined every 12 months. You can get new lenses every 12 months. You can get new frames every 24 months. So use that. And again, you have questions, call us here at the Lubbock office, Ross or Ashley. Again, it's 806-783-8959. So then right behind that, there's some other things about improving your life, some discount plans from Principal, and then behind that is the Principal enrollment form. So we do want this back from everybody. If you don't want the vision insurance, that's fine. We're never going to call you and pester you about that. But if you want to enroll, again, this has nothing to do with the dental, so you can enroll in vision, not in dental. You can put your kids on the vision, put your kids on the dental, or not. They are not tied together at all. So there is a place at the top on the back to elect or decline. So we need all of you, just so we know you've made a decision. Put your name on it. If you're not interested in the coverage, flip it over and decline it, drop down at the bottom and sign it. If you are interested in the coverage, go ahead and complete it. If you're going to carry dependents, list it, and then flip over and say you elect, and then tell us, are you covering who you're covering. All right? So do that, sign it, get that back into Vicki. Hopefully that will help. Hopefully this video will help. Again, we want you to call us 806-783-8959 here in Lubbock, and we have covered our packet, and we thank you for your time today.